Hello, my name is Stefan Uhrenbacher. I am a shareholder from Hamburg, Germany. My question to Warren, your favorite holding period is forever, but can you maybe to us give examples of your thought process when you exit positions? Thank you.
워런 버핏은 자신만의 주식 매수 매도 방식에 대한 비밀을 밝힙니다. 워런 버핏만의 주식 투자 방식과 철학을 들어봅니다.
Your favorite holding period is forever. Holding American Express or Coca-Cola for decades. Berkshire recently went in and out of Markel, and you, I believe, sold and later bought Oxy, which I think happens to everyone all the time. But can you maybe to us give examples of your thought process when you exit positions? Thank you.
Well, there are various reasons for exiting positions. One is if you need the money, but that doesn't happen very often with us. But it used to happen on every decision I made when I started, when I was 20 years old, which I considered the post-Graham period, although I actually started in 1942, if you just talk about buying stocks. Charlie and I made decisions extremely fast, but in effect, after years of thinking about the parameters that would enable us to make the quick decision when it presented itself. And people have speculated on how I've decided to really put a lot of money into Apple. And one thing that Charlie and I both learned a lot about was consumer behavior. That didn't mean we thought we could run a furniture store or anything else, but we did learn a lot when we bought a furniture chain in Baltimore, and we quickly really realized that it was a mistake. But having made that mistake made us smarter about actually thinking through what the capital allocation process would be and how people were likely to behave in the future with department stores and all kinds of things that we wouldn't have really focused on. So we learned something about consumer behavior from that. We didn't learn how to run a department store. Now, but we've learned more about consumer behavior as we go along, and that sort of background, in a very general way, led up to the study of consumer behavior in terms of Apple's products. And in that case, while I watched what was happening at the Furniture Mart in terms of people leaving the store, even though we were selling Apple at a price where we weren't even making any money, but it was just so popular that if we didn't have it, people left the store and went to Best Buy or someplace. And if you know the Blumkins, they can't stand anybody leaving the store, so they behave accordingly. But then you learned that had to interest you in the brand. And then you had a million different inputs. But I think the psychologists call this apperceptive mass, but there is something that comes along that takes a whole bunch of observations that you've made and knowledge you have, and then crystallizes your thinking into action, big action in the case of Apple. You know, I'd heard of Occidental Petroleum. Occidental Petroleum happens to been a descendant, not a descendant, but it's a continuation of City Service, which was the first stock I bought. And of course, I knew a lot about the oil and gas business, but I didn't know anything about geology. And so I knew the economics of it. I had a lot of various things stored in my mind about the business, but I never heard of Vicky until I guess it was Friday or Saturday, and we met on Sunday morning, and we made a deal. But that was one sort of deal. And then as time passed, all the kinds of different events happened, and Icon came in. I mean, there are a million things you couldn't predict at the start. And I formed certain opinions as I went along, but then I learned more as I went along. And then at a point when I heard an investor call that Biggie was on, it put things together for me in a way. It didn't mean I knew I had a sure thing or anything like that. I don't know what the price of oil was going to be next year. But I knew that it was something to act on. So we did. And we're very happy we did. And we still don't know what the price of oil is going to be next year. And nobody does. But I think the odds are very good that it was, but not a cinch, that it was a good decision. And, we've got options to buy more stock. And when we get through with it, it could be a worthwhile investment for Berkshire, and we're in it, and we're in it for keeps. And there are other things that we own that we aren't in for keeps. But, incidentally, I should just throw this out there since there's been speculation on it. We've sold. I was 100% responsible for the Paramount decision. I read speculation that one of either Ted or Todd had some involvement in that. No, it was 100% my decision, and we sold it all, and we lost quite a bit of money, and that happens in this business too. But actually owning Paramount made me think even further. I like to think deeper, but I certainly thought harder even about the whole question of what people do with their leisure time, and what the governing principles are of running an entertainment business of any sort, whether it's sports or movies or whatever it might be. And I think I'm smarter now than I was a couple years ago, but I also think I'm poorer because I acquired the knowledge in the manner I did. But if I just want to be very clear that A, we lost money on Paramount, and B, I did it all by myself, folks.
버핏은 겸손하게 말합니다. 나는 지금 더 현명해졌지만 손실도 있어요. 워런 버핏과 찰리 먼거는 수십 년 동안 빠르게 판단하고 소비자 행동을 철저히 분석하였습니다. 그는 실수를 인정합니다. 그리고 그 실수에서 배운 것을 앞으로의 더 나은 결정을 위한 자산으로 바꿔냅니다. 그리고 우리는 그의 연설 속 지혜에서 배웁니다. 주식 투자는 예측이 아니라 공부와 투자 경험의 성찰로 완성된 판단의 예술이라는 것을. 투자 손실은 실패가 아닙니다. 그건 앞으로 나아가기 위해 우리가 기꺼이 감수해야 할 수업료입니다. 이 영상이 마음에 와닿았다면 댓글로 선언해주세요. 나는 투자 실패를 성공의 기회로 생각합니다. 그 긍정의 한 문장이 당신의 삶을 바꾸고 미래를 성공으로 이끄는 씨앗이 됩니다. 당신은 슬기로운 부자 생활과 함께 부자의 길을 걷고 있습니다. 지혜는 나눌수록 커지고 통찰은 연결될수록 빛납니다. 구독과 좋아요는 단지 클릭이 아닙니다. 더 나은 세상을 향한 연결입니다. 감사합니다. 오늘도 슬기로운 하루 되세요.